If you are a UK, US, Canadian, or even European immigrant, especially from the African diaspora, it's time for you to start to build Africa. I would also include my European, like my Polish, my Turkish immigrants in this. It's time for you to go and build your actual country. And let's dive into this, because Project You 7.0 is the version and woman of you that understands that you go where you are loved, where there is opportunity, and where you can grow. I am a third generation immigrant. I was born in the United Kingdom and I have done pretty well for myself in the United Kingdom. But one thing that we cannot escape is this is not our country. We only have a passport in these countries and we have been given the right to be citizens. But can you truly prosper and be the 1% in these countries? I think not. I personally think not. Because to be the 1% is not only to be financially prosperous, but also to feel at ease, to feel relaxed, and to have a certain type of lifestyle. I firmly believe, as an immigrant who has gone back to my country, which is in West Africa, I personally believe that there are so many opportunities to build wealth like you can't even begin to imagine by using the money that you make in the UK to invest in your country, to buy land, to build businesses. And this is something that's really important. And having a dual way of living the benefits of the European economies, Canada, US, but also making sure that you are setting yourself up for generational wealth in these African countries, that you are the person creating jobs, that you are building things that you cannot build in the UK. Let's take, for instance, something like construction. In African countries, you buy the land, you can build houses. I even recently saw on TikTok someone from the UK who was building a set of 4 duplex apartments in my own country. And I salute her, I clap for her. You need to be very wise as a woman. You see the money that you make in the United Kingdom, in the US and Canada. Darling, stop buying Gucci, Prada, Chanel. You need to really start to own the land. And if you were to buy land in the United Kingdom, yes, you can buy £1 million house. Yes, you can buy, and I'm coming from a place of privilege when I say this, because I fully appreciate that there are many people who can't even afford to do that. As first, second, third, fourth generation immigrants, they can't afford to do that. But I want you to do, we've got this saying in my country, tighten your jaw, basically meaning tighten your belt. I need for you to tighten your belt. I need for you to get your money up in these countries that you're living in so that you can start to buy land, so that you can start to build businesses in these African countries. It is so important. The world is changing. When I recently went back to my own country, one of the things I noticed is there were Indian nationals who were moving from India to West Africa. I'm not going to say which country, but to the country that I'm from in West Africa. There were Indian nationals moving there because there is opportunity, there is gold. So why not you? Why not you? And there are many things to consider in doing so. I personally would encourage you to have a monthly fund that you're putting aside to be able to say to yourself, I'm going to just buy a small piece of land. I'm going to buy a property there. I'm going to look at what businesses I can set up there. I need to caveat this. Doing business, let me speak for what I know, in West Africa, I won't speak for the whole continent, can be extremely hard. Because if you're not physically there, you need to have family that you can trust. And that can sometimes be difficult. You need to be in a position whereby your feet can touch the soil and you can be evaluating and seeing what is going on with your investments. There is so much opportunity in Africa that the Westerners know that there is opportunity. But here you are in the Western world, turning your nose up at your own country, not knowing that they are mining the gold from your continent whilst you're busy struggling in the West. Whilst you are busy struggling in the West, the European communities, the majority white, are literally taking your gold and eating it, and you are in a 9-to-5 clocking in, and you can't afford to buy not even £1 million property in their own country. That doesn't make sense. So I'm encouraging you to get your finances together. You need to go on a strict budget. You also need to, if you haven't gone back home, wherever your homeland is, you need to go back home and see how vastly it has changed. This is whether it's Nigeria, this is whether it's Ghana, this is whether it's Liberia, this is whether it's Guinea. Go back home and see how it's changed. Go back home and see what they're doing and ask yourself, what are you doing in the UK? What are you doing in the UK of significance? And in asking yourself that, you get very, very serious with your money. I know a family friend who I smiled, I said, to show you the opportunity that really exists. His business has flourished so much that there are even whites in the United Kingdom, they couldn't afford to do what he does in business. So you think the UK is a land of opportunity. Yes, there are many opportunities here, but you must be extremely smart with the money that you utilise in the UK. You must be extremely intentional with your money here. And I'm encouraging that intentionality. Really think about, am I building something back home? What am I building? Because whether it be a coffee shop, if you want to set up a coffee shop, a batch shop in the United Kingdom, that's so difficult. Go back home, have the right people, the right opportunities. You can set that up business. If you've got the capital, in 3 months, everything could be done. In the United Kingdom, it's not quite the same. In Canada, it's not quite the same. If you want to open up a hotel in central London, darlings, talk to me. If you want to go and open up your first hotel in these West African countries, or even the whole continent, it is your oyster, so long as you've got the capital. So I encourage you, Project U 7.0, you need to be a billionaire, babe. And Africa provides you the opportunity to be a billionaire, babe. Africa opens the door for you to change the trajectory of your life. Do not let the Western society convince you that Africa is poor. Do not let them do that, because they are busy gold mining from Africa whilst you think you're living like a queen. You don't even have a cleaner that cleans your house over here. So what lifestyle are you living? You don't even have a driver here. So what lifestyle are you living? Build yourself up so that you are able to position yourself to be able to create a whole different trajectory for yourself. And in doing that, you need to be very intentional with your money and very intentional with your time, and have a plan and account for everything, and go slowly. Even if the first few trips that you go, you are not going to do any investment, you're going to evaluate the land. Make sure it is a land of milk and honey. And before you go, I'm just here sharing wisdom with you, but check with God. What business are you meant to do? What land are you meant to buy? Before I go and put my money anywhere, I speak to my Father. God, this is my plan. I put it at your altar. Is this what I should be doing? And I think it's so important to not have jaded rose-tinted glasses over the United Kingdom, over the USA, over Canada, over Europe. And you think you're living a life, but you have an opportunity to be part of the 1% if you actually allowed your feet to touch the shores of the continent of Africa, if you actually allowed yourself to build in Africa, that's when your life will be changed. You can't fly business class, I promise you. If you start to invest in Africa, if you start to do what you'll be flying business class with every single flight, because the system here is designed to take from you. The system in the United Kingdom is designed for you to be a worker for life. The system in the United Kingdom is designed to, when you make money, to rip you off with taxes. That's what the system is designed to do. So you are playing a rigged game over here. Allow yourself to play a game whereby you're not being discriminated against, to play a game where you're not being turned down for opportunities because of your race. And I'm not saying Africa as a continent, I'm not saying West Africa as a part of Africa doesn't have its faults. I'm not here to sugarcoat or glamorize it. It can be very difficult. There are lighting issues. There are so many other issues of corruption. But I promise you, it is not like we are living in a country without corruption. The corruption in the UK is just hidden so that you think that there is no corruption. There is corruption in the UK. Contracts will go to certain people. What do you call that? That's corruption. Do you think it's a fair system? So take those rose-tinted glasses off. Time to look at booking that flight, and time for you to genuinely explore how do you grow in the continent of Africa.